Dr. M. Babu Rao, Secretary, Comrade Jijendra Chowdhury, Comrade Brunda Karat, and other leaders of AARM and dear delegate comrades. At the outset, I would like to extend warm and revolutionary greetings to all of you present here from different parts of the country. I am extremely happy to be here with you, and indeed it is a privilege for me also. The Adivasi Adhikar Rashtriya Manch, AARM, is doing a great work by mobilizing the Adivasi community in the country in a big manner and also fighting against the anti-tribal policies of the governments. I would like to congratulate the leadership for the various activities and agitations during this conference period for ensuring better living condition for tribal community in our country. Today, we are living in a country whose basic character is facing serious threat from the ruling government itself. According to our constitution, India is a secular, socialist, democratic republic. This basic character was enshrined in the result of a fight in between different perspectives, not only in the Constituent Assembly, but in the freedom struggle also. The fight in between secular stream and the communal stream, we could see in all these steps. At that time, the Hindutva forces failed to incorporate their perspective to the basic character of our nation. But today, these forces are trying to impose their ideology on the character of our country by utilizing the power at center and some states. Comrades, what we have seen in Manipur, the country witnessed an unprecedented situation. All of us well aware that Meiteis and Kukis are living there for several centuries. By utilizing the administrative tools and propaganda machinery, the BJP could sharpen the divide in between the ethnic groups. This ethnic conflict between Meiteis and Kukis had taken over the lives of more than 200 people. More than thousands of families were displaced. Women and children were the most affected victims of this situation. All these are a part of planned strategy. That is the strategy of the ruling front BJP backed by RSS. The union government not only remaining silent, but allowing the situation moving into a great anarchy. The Prime Minister of our country kept mum for several months. He was forced to utter some words just after the leakage of the shocking video of the brutal attack on women. That was happened outside the parliament, but only 2-3 sentences, not enough to address the situation. Prime Minister was forced to speak in the parliament on this issue only because of the non-confidence motion moved by the opposition parties. Even though he was taken only 3-4 minutes to mention the situation in Manipur, not touching the basic roots of that issue. All this shows this was a planned strategy of majoritarianism. BJP wants to divide the country by utilizing identity politics and using communal weapons. Then organizations like AARM should take the initiative or the responsibility to unify these Adivasi communities by recognizing their traditional, cultural and social identities. I hope you can do this responsibility, particularly in this context. Comrades, now BJP government is trying to change the name of our country. During the G20 summit, the official communication, they avoid India. They have used only Bharat. What would be the name of the country? It was a debating point in the Constituent Assembly. Some members had argued for Hindustan. The basis of their argument was a new country was formed, that is Pakistan for Muslims, this country for Hindus, and it should be Hindustan. Several names were raised: Akhanda Bharat, Bharatvarsh, Hind. But at that time, the Constituent Assembly unanimously adopted this country is not Hindustan. This country is India, that is Bharat. That was the conclusion of the debate in the Constituent Assembly. That is reflected in Article 1 of the Constitution. India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. Now this government is deleting India, only Bharat. The next step to Hindustan. While speaking in the parliament or in public function, Prime Minister and other ministers are using only Hindustan, not India, not Bharat. They are using only Hindustan. That was a settled issue during that period while formulating the new constitution of this country. Comrades, the attempt to change the name of the country actually is a part of the project to transform the country transform the secular state to a religious state. The preamble of the Constitution of India, which starts from we the people of India. What the we? We includes all. We includes Hindus, we includes Christians, we includes Muslims, we includes all castes, we includes SCs, we includes STs, we includes atheists, all citizens, or not only citizens, all who are living in this country is included in this beautiful word we. Actually, we the people of India is a strong statement about the character of our nation. This was decided by the Constituent Assembly by voting. Actually, one member, Mr. Rajeeve Kamath, proposed an amendment. The preamble of the Constitution should start from a word in the name of God. That was an amendment moved by Mr. Kamath. Some other members moved, they argued that which deity should take precedence. Some members moved another amendment. Instead of in the name of God, their amendment, by the grace of the Supreme Being, Lord of the universe, called by different names, by different people of the world. This was another amendment. That amendment was withdrawn. But Kamath was not ready to withdraw his amendment. He pressed his amendment in the name of God. There was a voting in the Constituent Assembly with regard to the beginning of the preamble of our Constitution. Whether it starts from we the people or it starts from in the name of God. There was a voting. 68 votes for we the people. 41 votes for in the name of God. God defeated and we the people won in the voting, and that is why our preamble of the Constitution starts from we the people. Now the government is trying to change that. This inclusion, this secular character of our state, they are trying to change this by utilizing the power at center and some states. One nation, one language. We have several languages. Unity in diversity is one of the specific features of our country, India. We have several identified, recognized languages as per the constitution. In addition to that, we have several other languages. The languages of tribal community also are included in this. But now the union government is trying to impose one language, Hindi. Hindi for all. As per our constitution, we don't have any national language. All of us are while speaking, mentioning Hindi as a national language. No. In constitution, there is no national language, only official language. Hindi in Devanagari script and English for a certain period. That is the official language of the country, not a national language, official language. Official language for communication in between states, in between citizen and the state, in between departments. That is the function of an official language. But in between states, Hindi is not an official language, only English. For Supreme Court and High Court, only English. If you are moving a bill in a legislative assembly in Tamil Nadu, if it is in Tamil, the government should get the clearance from the governor for its English translation. If we are moving a bill in Kerala Assembly in Malayalam, we should get prior approval of the governor for English translation before presenting that bill in the assembly. Once Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, he was the union minister at that time, wrote a letter to the then Chief Minister of Kerala, Mr. Nayanar, in Hindi. Nayanar took a constitutional position. He wrote a reply letter in Malayalam. Because there is no constitutional provision without the consent of the states to communicate in Hindi. Only in English. Yes, you can communicate in Hindi. If Kerala or Tamil Nadu is agreed for their communication in Hindi, okay. Or central union government and Kerala government or Tamil Nadu government or Bengal government has agreed to communicate in Hindi, okay. But as per constitution, there is no provision to communication in between states or in between union and states by Hindi. But now all communications are only in Hindi. Now the union government had changed Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code, Evidence Act, utilizing not Hindi, Sanskrit words. At that time also, Constituent Assembly, there was a debate, Sanskrit should be the national language. The Hindutva forces, actually there was no representative of Hindutva forces or their parties at that time. But some persons who were represented Congress party are the representatives of Hindutva forces at that time. Shama Prasad Mukherjee was there, Kamath was there, Tandon was there. There was a demand, Sanskrit should be the official language. Then one Shama Prasad Mukherjee or some other person replied that, yes, that is the right, but not now. Now Hindi, then Sanskrit. That is the position of the RSS during that period also. Now they are trying to impose this one language, one nation policy. Comrade, uniform civil code is another issue. Actually, uniform civil code is a weapon for communalizing the country. If you are looking to the manifesto of BJP for 2019 elections, uniform civil code is not included in any legal reforms activities proposed by BJP. 2019 election manifesto, there is a special heading, subheading, cultural heritage. 11 points are under this specific subheading, cultural heritage. I would not like to go to all details. But this cultural heritage session of the manifesto of BJP for 2019 election starts from construction of Ram temple at Ayodhya and ends with 11th point uniform civil code. What it means? It clearly indicates that the idea to implement uniform civil code by BJP is not an attempt to reform the existing legal system for ensuring equality to women or any particular section of the country. Actually, they are trying to impose their cultural heritage, not the real cultural heritage of our country. Their cultural heritage, not Hindu religions, no. Hindutva cultural heritage. Hindutva, the term coined by Savarkar. They are trying to impose their Hindutva cultural heritage through this instrument, Uniform Civil Code. This issue was a debating point at the time of adopting our constitution. It was included in the directive principle. Now the Prime Minister has explained, or other ministers are explained, that this is directive principle, Parliament should do it. If you are looking to the directive principle, we could see Article 39C. What is Article 39C? It is a part of directive principle. It states, operation of the economic system should not result in concentration of wealth and means of production. That is Article 39C. Economic operations of this country should not result in concentration of wealth and means of production. What is the reality? Now we are claiming India as the 5th economic powerful country on GDP terms. 3rd in purchasing capacity. We are in the 3rd position in the world. But what is our position with regard to per capita income? That is on 126th. Per capita income is the total income divided by the population of the country. This total income includes the income of the Ambani, Adani and other corporates. That is divided by the population of the country. If you are removing these corporates or reducing their percentage, what would be the real per capita income of our country? But 39C is there. The operation of economic activity should not result in the concentration of wealth and means of production. Whether the government, any government has taken any step to implement this directive principle through any legislative measures? No. But now they are trying to impose uniform civil code by arguing this is a part of directive principle of our constitution. This issue was discussed in detail by the 21st Law Commission. What was the finding of the last Law Commission with regard to this issue? It is very clear. Uniform Civil Code is neither necessary nor desirable at this stage. Most of countries are now moving towards recognition of differences. Mere existence of difference does not imply discrimination, but is indicative of a robust democracy. This is the position taken by the last Law Commission. It is actually moving from the stand taken by the Constituent Assembly. Recognizing differences is not a discrimination. It is a reflection of a robust democracy. And the Law Commission added one more point. Equality not in between communities, equality within the communities. Equal rights for women or other groups within the communities should be protected. Yes, some reforms is the need of the day. Equal rights for women, recognizing the realities, it should be addressed in the proper manner. But the attempt of the BJP to implement uniform civil code is an attempt to ensure equal right to women. It is an integral part of their cultural heritage. Their cultural heritage is Hindutva cultural heritage. That is Manusmriti. That is Manusmriti. Why this is included in the cultural heritage? That means this UCC, Uniform Civil Code for BJP, that is Manusmriti. At the time of adopting constitution, the leaders of RSS had clearly indicated this position, their position on constitution and Manusmriti. In organizer, the editor in their mouthpiece of RSS, organizer, published in 1949 November 30. In their editorial, I quote, "In our constitution, there is no mention of the special nature of the constitutional development of ancient India. Manusmriti was written long before Persia and other legal codes. As the university acknowledged, Manusmriti means nothing to our constitution scholars." That was the position taken by RSS. Manusmriti means nothing to our constitutional makers. Savarkar, who coined this term Hindutva, added one more sentence. I quote, "The worst thing about the new constitution," that is our constitution, "is that nothing it is Indian. Nothing in it is Indian. After Vedas, Manusmriti is the most revered and the basis of ancient India's cultural customs and thought. Manusmriti is still practiced by millions of Hindus in their lives and practices. Today, Manusmriti is the law of Hindus and it should be the law of Hindustan." This is by Savarkar. The title of article is very interesting, "Woman in Manusmriti." Just after the adoption of the constitution, this was the position taken by Savarkar and RSS with regard to constitution and Manusmriti. They correctly stated that in their perspective, this is not the constitution, should not be the constitution of Hindustan. What should be the constitution of Hindustan? As per Manusmriti is a law of Hindu and it should be the law of Hindustan. Then comrades, UCC is an attempt to implement the Manusmriti and trying to impose Varnashrama Dharma or caste system. Backward communities and SC, ST are not included in this Varnashrama system. SC, STs, backward communities, Shudras are not considering as a human being also. As per Manusmriti, you should practice this Varnashrama Dharma. What would be the punishment for the violation of Varnashrama Dharma? It was explained in Uttaraganda of Ramayana. Why Shambhuga was killed? Shambhuga is a Shudra. One Brahmin boy was died. Why he was died at that age? Rama asked to sannyasis. Madhava said somebody is violating this dharma. That is why he was died at this age. Who is violating this dharma? Rama searched for that man. And he found Shudra is practicing, hanging down a rigorous tapas. He asked, "Who was you? A Kshatriya, Brahmana or Shudra?" Shambhuga said, "I am a Shudra." Rama took an over a sharpened sword and cut his head, killed him. Why? Violation of the Varnashrama. Why Egaleve lost his right thumb? That is violation of Varnashrama. We can see in the Puranas and the other epilogues of this our country. Now BJP is trying to impose Manusmriti and Varnashrama, utilizing their power at center. We could see this type of communal activities in tribal communities in a big manner. But Sangh Parivar stepped up to efforts to divide the tribal between Christians and Hindus. As per our constitution, anybody can observe, practice, profess their own religious belief. Hindus, maybe, Christianity, maybe, Buddhism, maybe. They have the full right not only to observe, not only to practice, but to propagate. Profess, practice, propagate. That is the word used in the constitution. That is a fundamental right as per our constitution. A tribe, Adivasi man or woman or family, they can observe Hindu belief or Christian or any other religious belief according to their wish. That is a fundamental right. But now the government is utilizing this as an instrument to delisting the tribal community. If you are observing to this, if you are converting to Christianity, then you should not be in the list of tribes. Utilizing this not only for polarizing the communal activity, but the real intention is to take over the right of the tribal community on land. If you are delisting from this, alleging that you are converting to Christianity, then you have no right to continue your constitutional right or legal right on the land in the forest area. The real intention to taking over the rich resource, the land from Adivasi communities for corporates. This is corporate communalism. Utilizing communal polarization, utilizing that instrument, they are trying to satisfy the need of the corporate to expand their industrial activity in this area. Then we should take strong step against these type of activities. The Sangh Parivar stepped up its efforts to divide the tribals between Christians and Hindus. They are also attempting to impose the Brahmanical caste order of the tribals. That I have mentioned earlier, how they are utilizing their Hindutva culture on different sectors of our society. Their consistent efforts to erode the cultural practices and traditions of the tribal communities in favor of a uniform conception of Hinduism. This is also part of the Uniform Civil Code. They are trying to make all these practices to a uniform, single-faced manner. In the name of incorporating tribal symbols, ideas, faith, and language into the mainstream, the RSS is working to replace them with their understanding of the Hindu religion and culture, according to their perspective. Then, comrades, federalism is another basic structure of our constitution. This government is dismantling the federal structure and centralizing all powers through different manners. Governors are acting against the essence of parliamentary democracy in non-BJP ruled states. Without giving assent, they are sitting on the bills passed by the legislature. In Tamil Nadu, in Kerala, in non-BJP ruled state, or most of the governors are sitting on the bills passed by the legislature. The powers of the governor is limited in a parliamentary democracy. While considering this issue in the Constituent Assembly, we could see an interesting debate. What would be the power of a governor? A question raised in the Constituent Assembly. The answer is, I quote, I will explain that. Not me, Ambedkar, the chairman of the drafting committee. Governor is an extremely ornamental position. We, the drafting committee, believe that everyone in the Constituent Assembly is well aware of the fact that governor has no responsibilities to executive. If a famous phrase is borrowed, the governor has no responsibility to execute it with discriminatory power or by own decision. No power to act discriminatory or by his own power. Based on the principle of the new constitution, the governor is required to follow the advice of the cabinet, unquote. This was a settled position taken by the Constituent Assembly with regard to the powers of the governors in the states. There was a question whether the governor can be nominated or be elected. Then one member said, anybody is taken this risk to contest for election for a powerless post? That is only wastage of time and money. No person with self-credential is not ready to contest for this powerless post. That was the answer in the Constituent Assembly itself. But what is the reality now? The reality is that now the governors are acting against these well-settled constitutional positions. Modi government is acting against physical federalism also. They are trying to tie up the hands of the state governments ruled by non-BJP parties. I would like to mention one example with regard to state of Kerala. Earlier, the revenue receipt of the state was in the proportion 56-44. 56% of the revenue received from the center share. Center share means the share actually collected from the state itself. Now center share is declined to 29%. Then the state government should mobilize 71% of the revenue expenditure. Actually, the central union government is trying to tie up the hands of the state government to blocking all welfare activities of the non-BJP ruled state governments. This is an attack to the physical federalism, the basic structure of our own constitution. A broad unity of all secular and democratic forces is a need of the day. The broad networking of anti-BJP parties as India gives confidence to the people who are fighting against this draconian government. All of us should join hands to defeat this draconian government from power. That is the need of the country today. At the same time, comrades, the union government is intensifying neoliberal policies. I would not like to take more time to explain all these things. These are all discussing in your reports and other speeches also. These policies are intensifying inequalities and unemployment all over the country. The immediate consequence of the deepening economic crisis is the great miseries imposed upon the downtrodden sections of the society. The unemployment has shot up to 7.86%, 8.1% in rural and 7.53% in urban areas. And also in 2.1 crore persons seeking jobs were turned back in 2021-22. 1.73 crores were refused to work in Narega, MG Narega, Mahatma Gandhi Narega also. Around 40 to 43% were denied their work due to the new digitalization mechanism in the Mahatma Gandhi Narega system. Comrade Vindra Karate had done a very good study by visiting most of the parts of the country and meeting the Narega workers, what are the issues facing in their practice. Then, comrades, I would not like to go to the details. In poverty also, World Bank study shows that 80% of the people who slipped into poverty during the pandemic period hail from India. 80%, mega majority of the people who failed to slipped into poverty is from our country. India 2020 Global Hunger Index source released on October ranks India 107 out of 121 countries. I would not like to go to all these details. Most of us are well aware of these things. India's and inflation also. Consumer price inflation was 7.4% in September. It has exceeded the RBI inflation band highest limit of 6%. The main thing I want to add, the consumer price index for rural India, that is alarming. This is only because of the inflation is largely driven by vegetables, spices and cereals and other products. The people are suffering in a big manner during this Modi's regime. Comrades, regular employees in central public sector undertaking fell from 16 lakhs in 2006 to 6-7 to 13 lakhs in 14-15. Thereafter, Modi government came to power. Then 2021, the strength of the regular employees in central public sector undergoing only 8.4 lakhs. That means 4.6 lakh regular jobs were lost in the first 7 years of the Modi government. The impact was not only limited to the employment scenario, it is reflected in the reservation system also. 7.55% constitutional reservation for ST communities. The declining in this reflected directly in the employment opportunities of the scheduled tribe, scheduled caste and other backward communities. Yes, 7.5% reservation is continuing as per the constitution. 15% reservation is continuing as per the constitution. OBC reservation is continuing 26% as per the law, constitution amendment. But nothing in the ports. You have a spoon for taking 7.5%. SA community have a big spoon for 15%. Other communities have a big spoon for 26%. But they are taking all public sector jobs. They are denationalizing the public sector companies. Nothing in the port. Or Tavis are with you with 7.5%, 15% or 22%, but nothing in the port. That is the real effect of the denationalization and this unemployment situation in our country. Comrades, most of the state governments are also following the same path of Modi government. In West Bengal, there is no permanent recruitment for teaching community. In 2021, only 969 new recruits as per the Public Service Commission. More than 10 crores is the population of West Bengal. In Gujarat, only 626 youth were recruited through Public Service Commission in 2021. Around 8 crore is the population of that state. But in Kerala, the left-ruled state, the population is just over 3 crores. Average annual recruitment through Public Service Commission is 34,000. That is the difference. Bengal, 10 crores population, only 969. This is almost same in other states also. While we are discussing about tribal issues, this government is concentrating to amend the existing acts and rules, which gives at least certain protection to the rights of Adivasi community. The Mining and Minerals Development Regulation Amendment Act, the Compensatory Afforestation Fund Act CAFA 2015, the Forest Conservation Amendment Act 2023, amendment of the Environment Impact Assessment Rules. These are some examples. I would not like to go to the details of this amendment. But one thing I should say, that the main interest of these all amendments are to give legal standing for taking over the mineral rich land in the forest areas for the corporates. That is the real intent of all these amendments. All these amendments are interconnected for this purpose. I hope this conference will discuss these issues in detail. Now I want to add some alternative initiatives of the Left Democratic Front government in the state of Kerala to protect the interest of the common man in general and SC/ST community in particular. The Left Democratic Front government has been devising and implementing various welfare and development schemes aiming at the comprehensive progress of the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes of the society. One of the stated goals of this government is to provide land and housing to all landless and homeless scheduled caste and scheduled tribe by 2025. Several initiatives were introduced in health, education, employment, infrastructure development, and poverty alleviation of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. The government has taken steps to provide financial assistance for SC and ST and backward classes students for study post-graduation in abroad. All students are going to abroad for their studies, post-graduation, graduation at international universities. We are providing 25 lakhs to SC and ST students for their post-graduation studies in international universities. The government has provided opportunity to 487 SC, ST and OBC students to study in foreign universities till March 2023. While the union government denied post-matric scholarship to SC students with income about 2.5 lakhs annual income, LDF government in Kerala decided to provide scholarship to all SC students irrespective of their income. Free ship cards were introduced to gain admission to education institution without paying upfront fees to SC and ST students. The government also implemented mechanism like tuition, examination, special fees for distance, online, part-time and evening courses. The study room scheme, that was a union government scheme, which was provided only to students of class 8 to 12. But in Kerala, it has been expanded to include students of class 5 to 7 and students of Kembriya Vidyalaya also. In the last financial year, 5,000 students were allocated students' classrooms in state of Kerala. The government has decided to provide free membership to SC and SC students in all libraries under the State Library Council. Libraries will be started with the help of Library Council through community reach out program in scheduled caste and scheduled tribes area. We are start new libraries in these areas. We have also taken steps to provide internet connectivity. The state government has introduced K-phone, high-speed internet connectivity to all. Kerala is the only one state in the country which declared internet access is a basic right of all citizens. For implementing that, we have taken steps to provide internet connectivity to 1,083 out of 1,284 colonies which does not have internet connectivity. 1,083 SC, ST colonies already connected by this optical fiber cable mechanism. Within a year, the rest of the colonies will also provided with internet connectivity. Edamalakudi is a tribal panchayat, the remotest tribal hamlet in the state, will be getting high-speed internet connectivity through optical fiber network. For providing high-speed internet connectivity to this remote tribal hamlet, the state government had spent 4.31 crore rupees only for ensuring internet connectivity to these tribal hamlets. Comrades, some other document digitalization also a novel scheme designed to provide essential documents to all scheduled tribe families in the state and store them securely and permanently in digital format. There was an attempt by some certain sections of the people to taking over these documents for misusing, for getting the right on the lands. Now we have developed a digital mechanism to store all these documents securely and permanently in this digital format. The digitally connected tribal area project was started in Wayanad in collaboration with the CDAC, focusing on social study room with emphasis on education, health and employment of the people in the scheduled tribes areas, and steps have been taken to extend the scheme to all over Kerala. The government has taken steps to provide electricity to 19 scheduled tribe colonies which do not have electric connectivity. We have taken steps for electrification to all tribal colonies. We have also launched a scheme to appoint, this is a novel scheme, Government of Kerala has launched a scheme to appoint education persons of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe under various departments for a period of 2 years with honorarium for job training, skill development and work experience in the government system. As part of this, 500 people have been appointed as accredited engineers from SC and ST community. 114 people with MSW qualification, Master in Social Work qualification, are social workers. And 380 people as management trainees in various offices and public sector companies. The state government has created a history by appointing 500 scheduled tribes together as a beat forest officers through a special recruitment process by Kerala Public Service Commission. After this LDF government came to power, land was purchased and distributed to a total number of 7,323 landless scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people in 2021 and 3,303 in 2022-23. For the housing projects, we have spent 278 crores for scheduled caste and 140 crores for scheduled tribes in 21-22, totaling 481 crores for SC and 300 crores for ST housing in the last 2 financial years. I would not like to go to all details. Comrades, I hope the outcome of this conference will give more strength and energy to the activities and agitation of your organization. I wish all success to your future programs and agitations. By these words, I inaugurate the 4th All India Congress Conference of AARM. Thank you, comrades.